Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about negative bias. We're going to look at where it comes from. We're going to look at how it affects us in the work environment and in our personal lives. And we're also going to look at a few ways that we can learn to coach ourselves through our negative bias. Our brains have been proven to actually hold on to negative information and negative stimuli. And this is part of our evolutionary process. Way back in the day, it was really important for the brain to pay attention to danger. And danger, if you were aware of it, equated survival. You could get away from the saber-toothed tiger. You could fend off your enemies. You knew which direction they were coming from. If you were able to survive, you were able to pass down your genes. But what's happened over all of these hundreds of years of evolution is that now our genes have a heightened biosensitivity to danger. So danger has been maladapted to stress now. And we have a really large brain response in the cerebral cortex to what we perceive as negativity or danger. A much larger response than what we actually have to something that is positive. And so that reaction to negative stimuli really sticks with us and has an effect on the way we see things, the way we make decisions in a really interesting way. So because the actual negative response carries a larger impact in the brain and stimulates more of the brain, we actually think more negative thoughts because we're holding on to those thoughts for a longer period of time. Therefore, it's a lot easier for us to remember negative comments for a longer period of time over something positive. So for example, you might have a review and 99% of it might be positive and 1% of it might be negative, and we will hang on to that negative thought. And the more we hang on to it, we give it more attention and more weight. And because we give it more attention and more weight, we actually start to think it's more important than the positive feedback. Whew. So when we actually start to think it's more important, then we start to categorize negative comments as more truthful than positive. And that is a really wild one to think about. Because we give negative interactions so much more weight, we automatically perceive them as being more truthful. So negative thoughts can actually lead us to make decisions more from a place of security because we're so attached to the negative outcome of something. The more we think these negative thoughts, the much more quickly they will actually be transferred to our long-term memory. Because we spend so much time thinking about negative thoughts and weighting them and giving them significance, our brain is much more likely to transfer those negative thoughts into our long-term memory over our positive thoughts because we don't give our positive thoughts as much time and as much attention as we do our negative thoughts. Lastly, because of all of this, the transfer of negative memories to long-term memory, because of the weight and significance that we give negative thoughts, we actually use our negative thoughts more in our decision-making process than our positive thoughts. So what can we do about this? We can consciously focus on our positive thoughts. We want to take time to pick them apart and think about why they're so positive, what was great about that interaction, remember it in our mind. And what we're trying to do there is we're actively trying to transfer positive thoughts into our long-term memory bank with all of those negative thoughts that have so easily slipped in there. If we can pause to consider the thoughts and really remember that we have this innate negativity bias that we have to work hard to overcome, it'll help you reframe your self-talk. It'll help you from making judgments too quickly about individuals. It'll allow you to take a step back and really look at the positive in a situation. And the positive in a situation might even be making it more neutral. But as long as we're not seeing it down that negativity lens, it's going to be an improvement. So when you're working with other people, if you can use that positive goal setting language that we talked about in, I think it was even video 2 or 3, this is really going to help the individuals around you see things through a positive lens first or a neutral lens first and not automatically go to their negativity bias. At the end of the day, it's great to sit down, have a cup of tea, reflect at dinner, and talk about or write down the positive things that have happened in your day. So, once again, when we spend more time reflecting on the positive things that have occurred in our day, we're helping our positive memories get embedded in our long term memory bank so that we have a balance of some positive and negative memories. The other way that you can do this, if you're a lot more process driven and goal oriented, like a lot of high achievers are, the other thing you can actually do is just list everything that you tackled that day. For those of us that have a lot going on in our lives and we feel like we're constantly working, it's really great to list everything that you actually did complete in that day. And once again, that sets the mind into this positive place of remembering all of the things that you've accomplished, which are the positive things, instead of the things that went wrong that your brain is going to naturally want to continue spinning when you go to bed. So we're trying as best we can to set that cognitive positivity frame before we close the day out. Thanks for joining me today. And if you want to talk more about negativity bias, if you want to think about your own negativity bias and where it comes from, I can certainly help you break that down. I'm available Tuesdays and Thursdays, set office hours, or by appointment via email. Thank you so much.